Let me connect with y'all through this message right quick. You know what I'm saying? 5 reasons why people become atheists. Hey, what's up? It's Patrick. It's Rose via Fire. And I pray this message reaches who it needs to reach. So let's talk about 5 reasons why people become atheists. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. Let's just jump right into it, man. Like, one of the reasons that people become atheists is because, you know, they look around and they see all the suffering and all the evil in the world. And then they sit back and they be like, all this suffering and all this evil and everything that's going on in the world. And then they be like, okay, either God is not real or God is cruel. Either or. Either God is not real or God is cruel or something. Because look at all the suffering. Look how much we have to suffer down here. Look at how much the people is suffering. Look at how the evil people keep winning. Look at how the evil people keep winning. Look at all the evil that's going on in the world. Look at all these things that are going on in the world. And you mean to tell me that God is real after all these things that are going on in the world, bro? That's one of the reasons. That's the first reason that I have on this list why people become atheists. They look around, they see all the suffering in the world, and then they like, how could God be in control and allow all this stuff to happen? You know what I'm saying? How could God be in control and allow all this stuff to happen? And I'm gonna answer this question for the people out there who feel like that, bro, because this also ties into another reason that I have on the list, but I'm not gonna give y'all like the religious answer, the Christian answer, and all this and that, bro. I'm not even gonna give you none of that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of ways in which God operates that I don't even agree with. You know what I'm saying? But this is what they don't tell you. Like, you don't have to agree with everything about how God does things in order to follow God. You know what I'm saying? There is a lot of ways of God that's cruel. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of Christians and a lot of religious people, they ain't even gonna keep it real. There's a lot of things that God do and a lot of stuff that God be doing, and it just comes off as cruel, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I'm like, you know what? Why isn't things changing? Like, why is the world like not changing for real? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then on the other side, it's like people choose to kick God out of their life. And then they end up having these kids. It's like people choose to reject God and then they have kids. And now these kids grow up with parents who don't even want God. Now these kids grow up to become wicked. You get what I'm saying? Bro, these people don't want God, but yet they want to have all these kids. I'm going to repeat that one more time. These people don't want God, but yet they want to have all these kids. So now these kids grow up evil because these people don't want God. They doing things just because. These people ain't following God's plan. They just doing what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Now they having kids. Now they raising their kids up. Now these kids growing up evil. Now before you know it, the whole generation wicked. The whole generation wicked because of people keep having all these kids outside of God's will. These people don't even care about God. So on that one right there, you gotta blame the people, bro, because the people out here having kids that God didn't even tell them to have. Now these kids grow up evil. Now before you know it, the whole generation evil. It's the free will of the people, man. It's the free will. Know what I'm saying? But why does God allow suffering in the world? And, you know, why is all these things going on and this and that, man? Like, you got to understand. Everything about God, bro, is like God created evil. Know what I'm saying? Because a lot of Christians ain't even going to keep it real. These religious people ain't going to keep it real. And that's why people become atheists. Because these Christians ain't going to keep it real. An atheist could ask like a Christian, okay, Who created evil? Oh, you know that the people they created evil. We were sinning and nah, bruh. God created evil, bro. God created everything, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So the lack of honesty from religious people and from Christians and all this, the lack of honesty and transparency, man, it just drives people away, man. Some people are like, man, I'm just gonna be atheist, bro, because these people can't even keep it real that God created evil. These people can't even keep it real that a lot of things that God do is cruel. These people can't even keep it real. So some people, they just become atheists because their questions is not being answered by these dishonest religious people. So now they becoming atheists. You know what I'm saying? But look though, the second reason why people become atheists is because of past trauma in their personal life. They could have been through some traumatic things in their past. And once again, why did God allow this? Why did God allow my wife to die? Why did God allow my husband to die? Why did God allow my father to die, my mother to die, and this and that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like past traumatic things. A lot of people, when they go through all this trauma, they stop believing in God. They become atheists. They like, man, how could God allow this? You know what I'm saying? How could God allow this? And one thing that I will say is that a lot of things that God do, we don't even understand it. We're not even going to understand why God allows everything that he allows. You know what I'm saying? The Bible say that God's ways and thoughts is beyond our thoughts. There's many things that I be like asking God questions about. I'm like, God, why this happened to me? Why that happened to me and this and that? And then you got some people where when they go through trauma and this and that, they stop believing in God. They become atheists when they go through all these traumatic things. But yet on the other side, you got people to whereas when they go through trauma and traumatic things, they get closer to God. Let me repeat that one more time. Some people, when they go through past trauma and all these things, they start believing in God. They're like, man, God is not real and this and that. And then other people, they go through past trauma and all these traumatic things. And then they be like, you know what? I'm going to get closer to God, bro. God is real. What is the difference between these two people? Why is it that one person's trauma draws them away from God and then another person's trauma draws them closer to God? You get what I'm saying? Another reason why people become atheists is because of hell. Some of them, they asking, how could a loving God create hell, bruh? How could a loving God create hell where you're burning in fire and brimstone and your skin is peeling off and you're in so much agony and the lava is entering into like your body, you're screaming, all these 4th degree burns, a millionth degree burns, you're suffering, you like screaming forever for eternity. How could a loving God create hell, bruh, and cast people into it, bruh? How could a loving God create hell and cast people into it for a life that they lived, what, 50 years, 60 years, 80 years? They lived a short life, but they gonna end up in hell for eternity? How could a loving God allow that? Know what I'm saying? Once again, some people have that question and they don't get the right answers they're looking for. Now they stop believing in God because they don't feel like a loving God will create hell. Well, this is the thing about religion. It misrepresents God. You know what I'm saying? In church and in Christianity, they talking about, oh, God is love, God is love, God is love, God is graceful, God is love. But they fail to tell the people that God has other sides to him. God has the crazy sides to him. God has the side where he's delivering justice and punishment and karma and wrath and all these different things. These Christian, all these churches trying to talk about God is love only, and that's where you lose the people. When you only talking about God's love, God has a lot of other sides to him that's crazy, bruh. Because you got to understand, just as we humans have different sides to us, man, God has other sides to him. God gets angry. Man, God is a jealous God. God gets angry and this and that. And then some people may be like, wait, why does God get jealous and this and that? Isn't that like a human thing to get jealous? Like this and that? Like, You gotta understand, bro. We was created in God's image. You know what I'm saying? The things we feel, bro, God feels, but what's the difference between God's jealousy and our jealousy? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people could feel as though God is hypocritical. They could feel as though, okay, God is going to send us to hell for being jealous of other people. But yet God is a jealous God. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of religious people, they don't want to get into topics like this to set the people free. How can God say, okay, you jealous, I'm sending you to hell. You jealous of everybody else. But yet it say God is a jealous God. You know what I'm saying? God is the jealous God. But hey, bro, you jealous, I send you to hell, bro. You have jealousy in your heart, bro, and you jealous of everybody else, and you don't repent and you die in your jealousy, you end up in hell. But I'm a jealous guy. Like, people is like, hey, bro, ain't that hypocritical though? Hey, I'm gonna keep it real with you. It does. Hey, bro, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. And this is my personal opinion, bro. There is a lot of things that God do, and I'm like, bro, that is hypocritical. But hey, that's just me keeping it real. You know, a lot of these religious people, they not gonna keep it real, bro. They not, hey, bro, they not gonna keep it real, bro. You know what I'm saying? What's another thing about, you cannot hate each other. Don't walk in hatred. Do not walk in hatred. Don't hate each other. But then I think in the Bible it said God hated Esau. Yeah, God hated Esau. So like, bruh. But God tells us we walk in hatred. If we die hating other people with hatred in our heart, and we go into hell. But you read in the Bible, it said God hated Esau. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's how you say the name. Esau. God hated Esau, bro. So it's like, bro. So God hated Esau, bro. We out here like, you walking in hatred and you don't repent, you're going to hell, bro. Hey, it look like God has a lot of things about him, bro. That, man, I'm telling you, bro, it does look hypocritical if I'm just keeping it real with y'all, man. But a lot of these people, they ain't even gonna keep it honest. They ain't even gonna have these honest conversations, bro. They ain't even gonna keep it real, bro. But yeah, 5 reasons why people become atheists. So number 1, they look at the suffering in the world. Number 2, past trauma from their personal lives. Number 3, hell. How could a loving God create hell? Because, you know, sometimes I'm wondering, like, man, hell, bro, like, hell is brutal, bro. And then some of these people be ending up in hell for, like, petty reasons. And the reasons is not even, like they gonna burn for eternity for some of these reasons. I would understand if somebody was truly wicked, but, like, some people, they just end up in hell for the reasons is not that strong in my opinion, though. You know what I'm saying? Let's say a kid was getting bullied at school and they just got done with it and they took their life. So they ended up in hell for taking their life, because that's the judgment. That is the judgment for taking your own life. You end up in hell. I'm like, they going in the same hell as the people who was truly wicked? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things about God, bro, like, I don't even agree with. But that's the thing, though, like, you could follow God, but you don't have to agree with everything about how, you don't have to agree with everything that God do. You get what I'm saying? You could follow God, but you don't have to agree with everything that God do. You got to put your emotions to the side, bro, when it comes to following God, bro. Because a lot of things about God, bro, you ain't even go agree with it, bro. Even Jesus don't agree with everything about God. You know what I'm saying? Even Jesus, like, you got to understand, Jesus don't agree with everything that God be doing too. So we can't really agree with everything that God be doing as well. Like, there's certain things that we're going to agree with and there's certain things we're going to disagree with. But yeah, there's a lot of sides about God that's literally seem extremely cruel. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, they ain't experienced them sides of God that feel cruel. Yeah, you could be doing the right thing and it feel like God is just punishing you for doing the right thing. Like, but yet, when you go back to the world, he punishes you again. But when you're trying to get closer to him, It feel like he's punishing you and pushing you away. The people who ain't never walk with God, they ain't even gonna understand nothing that I'm saying right now. It feel like when you in the world, when you go back to the world, you get punished. But when you trying to get closer to God, it feel like he pushing you away and punishing you. I don't know, man. It's just, man, that's why a lot of people gotta keep it real, bro. Walking with God, bro. There's a lot of things we're not gonna agree with. There's a lot of things that we're gonna agree with. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. But the key is, don't let, like, in a way, it's like you cannot let God's cruelty stop you from following God. If you feel what I'm saying, you gotta put your emotions to the side and still follow God. Even though you could see like, okay, God could be cruel in this area. You could feel as though God is cruel, but don't let that stop you from walking with God, bro. And a lot of religious people, they don't know how to break it down and explain it or what's going on. So that's why a lot of people, they like, bro, what's going on, bro? They lost. Because these religions is misrepresenting God. They don't even know God's true character. They talking about God is love only. Yes, it is true that God is love, but God has a lot of other sides to him, bruh. Man, God has a lot of crazy sides to him, bruh. And that's just the honest truth right there. And then let's move on. Okay, the first reason why people become atheists, they see the suffering in the world. The second reason, past trauma from their personal lives. The third reason, hell. Why did God create hell? The fourth reason was religion, and how religious people kind of like misrepresent God, and Christians misrepresent God, talking about God is love and this and that. The final reason, the fifth reason, bad decisions that they made in their life. Now, so a lot of these atheists, man, they be making all these bad choices in their life, and now they trying to blame it on God. That's how people be, really. They be making bad choices in their life, and then they trying to blame it on God. When really, it's their own choices, it's their own decisions. Now, they trying to blame it on God, man. You get what I'm saying? They trying to blame it on God. Bad decisions they done made on their own. Now, they trying to blame it on God, bro. That's crazy, man. Don't you know that people will blame you for their own bad decisions? People make bad decisions. Now they going through the consequences of their bad decisions. Now they trying to blame God for their own bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? But that's some of the reason why people become atheists. Really, I could add in like a bonus reason. Some people just hate God, bro. Some people just hate God. So they just become atheists because they hate God. That's it. Some people, they just hate God. That's it. That's like a bonus reason, you know what I'm saying? If I was to give y'all like a bonus reason, some people hate God and they just atheists because they hate God. That's it. That was just like a little bonus reason right there. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to say, man. Peace.